They violated or betrayed you for their own reasons, and their reason had absolutely nothing to do with you. What's going on, everybody? This your man Lucky. I'm back with another one. I hope everybody's doing good. Fellas, listen to me and listen to me very well. This is very, very important for any man out there that's going through it right now due to, a relationship going bad, a relationship going sour, whether you've been disrespected, you've been violated, or your partner has been disloyal, you've been betrayed, cheated on, whatever it is that has you in a situation right now that you're going through a breakup, you're going through a separation, you're going through a divorce, whatever it is that you're going through in your current situation or your current relationship, you have to be very careful of what it is that you think about what happened. Our thoughts can make us or break us. It's usually not the thing that happened, it's the thought that goes along with that particular thing that happened in the relationship that has us at these crossroads right now. You're in a situation where you're trying to figure out, do you stay or do you leave? Now, usually when you're at that point to where you have to make a decision as to whether you're going to stay or you're going to leave, usually the correct answer is leave. If you're at that point, you've probably already contemplated and thought about it and weighed the pros and cons and all of that stuff already. And when you're at that point where it's like, I got to do something, it's probably best to leave. But I get it. A lot of times it's hard to leave. Who knows how many years you've been in that relationship? Who knows how many years you have invested or whatever the case may be. It's not easy, especially when you have an emotional attachment to that person. It's hard to break that bond. It's hard to break that attachment, whatever you want to call it, love, whatever it is. It's hard to walk away from somebody that you really care about, even though you're being violated, disrespected, cheated, whatever the case is. It's not easy. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh man, if you can't do this and you can't do that, you just a this and you just a that. I'm not here to judge. I know what it's like being in that situation, and sometimes we just have to make tough decisions. It's not easy. It's always hard. The thing that makes it more difficult is the story that we tell ourselves in regards to what happened. Forget about what actually happened. The issue is the story that we tell ourselves. See, usually the story that we tell ourselves is like a negative reflection on ourselves. When we get violated or whatever the case is, we get disrespected or whatever, we tend to look down on ourselves. We look at ourselves like, yo, I'm not good enough. But that's the story that you're telling yourself. That's not the reality. Just because somebody else doesn't value you doesn't mean that you have no value. Y'all get what I'm trying to say? It's all about the story that you tell yourself. If you're at a point where you want to walk away, but you feel like you don't have the strength to walk away, why? Ask yourself why. Take a look at the story that you're telling yourself. You're telling yourself that, hey, your spouse is better than you, or your partner is better than you. You're telling yourself that you don't think you'll be able to do better if you walk away. You're telling yourself that, it's going to be difficult on your own. You're telling yourself that you're going to be lonely if you walk away. Everything that has you in a situation or has you at a point where you're not going to do what it is that you really want to do, it's because of the story that you're telling yourself. Guys, we have to rewrite that story. Rewrite the story. Listen, I get it. You've been in this relationship forever, and the story that you told yourself is that y'all gonna be together forever. It's gonna be till death do you part, right? I get it. But now, when you're at that crossroads, you have to begin to rewrite the story. Be careful of the thoughts that you have, because the thoughts that you have will either make you or they will break you. When you start having negative thoughts about yourself, it will affect your self-esteem. It will affect your confidence. Be very careful of your thoughts. Your thoughts are going to dictate the story that you tell yourself. It's a story. It's made up in your mind. You got to get out of, you have to rewrite the story. You have to get out of the old story and get into your new story, period. You had your life programmed into your GPS, and your GPS is telling you, you know what I'm saying? Your mental GPS is telling you which way to go. It's telling you stay on the road that you're on. However, you're going to have to come off at the next exit. You're going to have to go against what the GPS is telling you, because the GPS is programmed. See, our mind is programmed that it's going to be a certain outcome. You have to reprogram your mind, because that outcome is not going to happen. You got to reroute. You have to reroute and keep rerouting. It's all about the story that you are telling yourself. You're valid. You're worth it. You're worthy. Stop thinking that you're not. Just because somebody violated you or somebody disrespected you or whatever it is that happened, it is not a direct reflection on you. It is a direct reflection on them. Stop pointing at you and point at them. Not to say, I don't want you to look at yourself as a victim. Like, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. They did this and that. Nah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm telling you is to be careful about the story that you tell yourself. Whatever it is that they did is not attached to your not self-esteem, but it's not attached to your value, period. If they don't value you, that's them. It's their loss. Detach. Detaching is the hardest thing to do. This is why I always talk about emotional attachments. Emotional attachments are bad. They are bad. In my opinion, there's a difference between a connection and an attachment. Yo, listen, if you're connected, that's fine. Attachment is like a connection times 100. When you're attached to something, it's a part of you now becomes a part of that other person. And it's like you're stuck like glue, like you're welded, you know what I'm saying, together. And now you got to break that weld. That's what it's like breaking that attachment. That's what it's like trying to break that bond. But again, it's all about the story that you tell yourself. If you tell yourself that you can't walk away, you're not going to be able to walk away. If you tell yourself that your spouse or your significant other or whatever is the best that you'll ever get, then in your mind, that's truly what you're going to believe. And you're never going to go out there and find somebody better, or just go out there and be by yourself. Listen, let me tell you something about life, man. Life is a solo game. Life is a solo game. You were born by yourself and you're going to die by yourself. And when I say by yourself, I'm just saying it's a solo game. Every walk of life is simply us. Yeah, there are people around us. We got family, we got friends, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to us. We're solo, but we keep forgetting. We keep attaching ourselves to people. We attach ourselves to friends. We attach ourselves to family. You know, we attach ourselves to romantic partners. We attach ourselves to co-workers. We attach ourselves to pets. You know what I'm saying? Listen, whatever it is you're attached to, you become a slave to, period. Whatever it is or whoever it is that you are attached to, you become a slave to. Listen, life is a solo journey. It's all about the story that you tell yourself. When you start telling yourself things like you're not worthy, when you start telling yourself things like, I must not be good enough if they did this, or you got to get out of that. Change the story that you're telling yourself. Listen, they did what they did for their own reasons. It had absolutely nothing to do with you, period, point blank. Stop, pick yourself up. Listen, work on yourself, build yourself back up, change the story. The only way that you're going to change the story is that you change yourself. Whatever it is about yourself that you don't like, fix it. Because we're going to use the things about us that we don't like, and we're going to put those things in the story. If you're overweight, you're going to probably tell yourself, because I'm fat, or I'm overweight. Or if you don't think like you look good, you're going to tell yourself, I don't look good enough. They violating me, or they cheating on me, or betraying me, or whatever, because I don't look good. Or, you may put money into it, or I don't make enough money. Stop telling yourself these things. They violated you because of their own selfishness. They violated you because of them. They violated or betrayed you for their own reasons, and their reason had absolutely nothing to do with you. Oh, now you may be in a situation where you like, yo, why are you doing this and why are you doing that? And you know what? They will tell you, they will point the finger at you and put the blame on you. Oh, because you're not this and you're not that, or you didn't do this, or you didn't. It's manipulation. You know what I'm saying? It's deflect. Listen, they violated you because they made a choice to violate you. And that's the only story you have to tell yourself. They did it because they wanted to do it. Listen, they lied to you. They deceived you. They betrayed you. None of this happened by mistake. It was all calculated. They thought it out. They plotted and they planned on everything they did, how they can do it, and you not find out. The purpose of the planning was to betray you. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? That is the only story that you need to know. Guys, listen, I'm going to cut this one short, but I'm just letting you know. They chose to do whatever it is that they chose to do for whatever reasons that they had, period. The story that you tell yourself is going to have a huge impact on your ability to move on. Stop pointing the finger at yourself. Stop blaming yourself, and be very, very careful of the thoughts that you have. Everything in life is based on the story that you tell yourself. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good.